Hello and welcome back to another video on Wrestlers of 8 and to Smackdown Out of 10. And I think, as we all know, it's been a very dramatic few days in WWE. I'm not going to touch on it, I've touched on it in plenty of other videos. So we're just going to get straight into the show. And Stephanie McMahon kicked it off to discuss the matter. She gave a brief speech and the crowd thanked Mr. McMahon and as Jamie moved on. Yeah, that's really all I'm going to mention. Kind of what we expected, nothing less, nothing more. And yeah, like I said, let's get straight on to the main show. And the Street Profits were out and hyped up their title match next weekend at SummerSlam. Theory walked out and said that no one cared about the Profits and their match since they were surely lose the Usos. He then went on about how he planned to cash in his money in the bank contract. The Usos walked out and told Theory to shut up, and a brawl broke out between the two teams in Theory. Smackdown Moss joined the brawl and we witnessed a 6-man brawl, but it doesn't end in a tag team match immediately. That's safe later in the show. Yeah, just a show building angle with the uncertainty around Brock, I suppose, just to build up the show. So yeah, no issues with this really. Obviously set the main event for later. And yeah, it just made sense with the uncertainty, which I imagine was still going around at the time. But anyway, then we got Ludwig Kaiser versus Nakamura. Ludwig had the advantage early on and got some big moves in before getting a suplex for a near fall. Outside the ring, Nakamura sent into steel sets before getting a sliding knee and a German suplex for a near fall. Gunther ran the distraction when Shinsuke returned. Kaiser took an advantage and went to roll up but failed to get the pin. The IC champion then distracted Nakamura from the apron this time before getting a cheat shot while the referee was looking away. Ludwig came in with the pin and got the W. After the match, Gunther told Kaiser to stand straight and the latter feared he would be hit with a chop again. Gunther patted him down on the back when Kaiser let his guard down. The former went for a chop. Yeah, I mean, like, you really wouldn't want to go Gunther as your boss, would you? But yeah, I'm just loving this whole thing. And Ludwig getting the win is an interesting dynamic as well. I kind of like it and support it. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, this whole good stuff is really great at the moment. Backstage, Ronda Rousey told Liv Morgan that she was happy for the new champ, but she would end her reign at SummerSlam. Liv tried to say she was more passionate about keeping the title, but Ronda told her she was wrong. Before Happy Corbin attacked Pat McAfee at the announcer, sent him to the barricade. Liv battled to recover, then chased his opponent backstage. After a break, Pat ran back to the ring and said he would take Corbin out for good at SummerSlam before coming back to commentary. Before he got the Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky, Ivar immediately sent Jinder into the corner and unloaded him before being sent outside. Jinder came in with some big strikes. The Viking Raiders then came back into the ring and won the match via count out. What the fuck was this? It's just the same thing but just getting worse every week. 5 out of 10. Sonya Deville was mouthing off to Adam Pearce backstage as he booked a match against Raquel Rodriguez as payback before Sheamus was out next on Smackdown and called out Drew McIntyre. The latter walked in with his sword and Sheamus told Drew to lay down his sword, advising Holland to take Butch out of the ring so they could talk peacefully. Drew asked why Sheamus acted like a coward and said that WWE needed a real champion, not whatever Roman Reigns is. McIntyre challenged Sheamus to match, but the Irishman hesitated before finally agreeing to the bout next week on SmackDown. Sheamus added that it would be an Irish Donnybrook match with Gillet's wooden sticks basically. Adam Pearce made it official before Sheamus tried to attack McIntyre with one of the sticks, but Drew used his sword to cut it in half. I mean, like, yeah, interesting new booking decision. Is this the sort of thing we're going to get now Vince is gone? Who knows? But yeah, hopefully we'll finally get the match and move on from this storyline because yeah, I haven't really been a massive fan of it recently. I think it's pretty fair to say. Paul Heyman then instructed the Usos to take down Theory tonight so he cannot cause any trouble for Roman before he got Raquel versus Sonya. Sonya sent Raquel into the corner before getting out of hold and smashing Rodriguez head into the turnbuckles. Deville got a near fall off a running knee before taking a massive headbutt. Raquel then hit the follow-away slam and a corkscrew elbow for a near fall. Deville tried to fight back but Rodriguez followed up with a few kicks and got the Texana bomb for the W. And yeah, I mean, like, it kind of gets a 5 out of 10 for me. It just kind of felt like having a women's match on the show for having a women's match on the show's sake, if you kind of get what I'm coming from. The whole stuff with Pearce and Deville was kind of running tired now, I can't lie. 5 out of 10. Lacey Evans then complained about the crowd and trash talk about Boston while constantly being booed. Lacey said that she was better than everyone, but Aaliyah tried to stop her. Evans hit the women's right out of nowhere and took her opponent down before walking out. Another week, same old bollocks. Jeff Jarrett was backstage and said that he both and the Eastern Street Profits tried to buy them, but the Hall of Fame said no to both of them. Jarrett said he would call the match down a minute and ensure there's no tomfoolery. Good. Maxine Dupree was backstage and said that Maximum Male models would debut at SummerSlam Beachway collection next week, but apparently not. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Before he got the Usos and Theory versus the Street Profits and Moss, Jimmy and Dawkins kicked off the match and the Usos were in trouble early on before the Profits came in for a double team to wipe them out. Theory was too afraid to join the match, but Madcap knocked him off the apron before he headed for a break. Back on SmackDown, Jey Uso was in the ring and Fall came in with a big top rope crossbody before getting a near fall. Madcap came in and hit Jimmy with a spinebuster but failed to get the pin. The latter came back with a super kick for a near fall. Theory then tried to run at the match before Jey hit him with a super kick, but Jimmy came up and did the same. Ford and Dawkins took out the Usos at ringside before Theory and Madcap were left in the ring. Theory lifted Moss for a huge neck breaker, but failed to get the pin. He then tried lifting Moss again, but the latter got out of it. Theory was headed for a beatdown, but attacked Moss with the Money in the Bank briefcase, ending the match in a DQ. As the bell rang, Brock Lesnar made his way out to the ring and hit Theory with an F5, beating him down with the briefcase. Brock then went for another F5 before SmackDown went off the air. And yeah, Brock Lesnar, with all the rumours throughout the day, he did show up. It does seem like the SummerSlam match is on. And yeah, it's really, with everything going around, it's shocked to see him. And yeah, definitely elevated this. Yeah, really, really good to see Brock. And yeah, it does get me hyped for that SummerSlam match now with the extra dimension. In terms of the match itself, it wasn't bad, but Brock, like I said, really elevated it. 7 out of 10. Overall, SmackDown this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't a terrible episode of SmackDown. Don't get me wrong, there were some really bad bits on the show, but there's some bits that were really good, and of course the Brock Lesnar bit at the end kind of elevated it. It's a show with a lot of intrigue with everything that's gone on, and yeah, you know, it wasn't a terrible show at all. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, don't subscribe, spam, and if you want to any wrestling news, subscribe to my channel, subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.